All right, thank everyone for tuning in to a Global from Asia cross-border e-commerce series. We're again doing amazing interviews. We have Patrick, founder of StarMex.
Yep.
It's a top seller in Amazon right here in Shenzhen. So thanks for coming on, Patrick.
Oh, sure. My pleasure.
Great. So for those that aren't familiar, can you introduce a little bit about the company and yourself?
Yeah, actually, StarMex was founded about 6 years ago. It was 2011. So at the time, I was staying in the States, and I decided to come back to Shenzhen and start this e-commerce business. So that's how it was founded. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
And so you were educated. You went to college in the U.S. and also worked there for a while.
Yeah. Actually, I went to college in China, and after I also went to graduate school in China. So
you did? Okay.
After I finished my master's degree, I went to the States for PhD.
Nice.
So I got a PhD in computer science, and then I went to Microsoft.
Okay.
Worked at Bing Search, and also about 2 years later, I went to Amazon. So I was working at a catalog team, catalog quality team. Yeah.
Okay.
So at Amazon, I realized how e-commerce, how fast e-commerce developed. So then I decided it's time for me to start this business.
Sure. That's great. And so while you were inside Amazon, and so you're in big data. You seem like, from what I understand, into data science or
right. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, AI is a pretty hot word like these days. And when I was doing my PhD, actually my specialization was artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
But at the time, of course, AI was not as hot as today. So I was studying specializing in big data and also the machine learning and artificial intelligence. So when I was working at Bing Search, we were working on some ranking team. So the main focus of the team was to improve the search algorithm. Essentially, that's using the machine learning algorithm to help search engine to do better jobs. So when I switched to Amazon, the team, the main task for the team was to help customer to better navigate the website to find the products that they need.
Okay.
So essentially, that's also using big data.
Definitely.
Yep.
Which is, I think we talk a lot, of course, about e-commerce here, and data is probably the number one thing to succeed. You would say that just seems like a really big advantage to have knowledge of the data and how to understand the trends.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
So then your experience at Microsoft with Bing, and then in the catalog department at Amazon, you're able to use that. And then, so you immediately started, did you start in America, or did you start when you moved back here?
This is, I guess, another like a garage startup like the story. So before I came back to Shenzhen, I did try a few months. I started in my garage.
Nice.
So we imported products from China and store in my garage, and then sell at Amazon and eBay. So that's how I started.
Yep.
But obviously, later on, garage is not big enough, and also it's not easy to scale up like in the States.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty expensive to hire people, right? So then I have this conversation with my wife. So we figured this is time to really move back to China and to continue the
Great. So then you chose Shenzhen because of what was the thinking behind Shenzhen?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, before I came back to China in 2011, so I never been Shenzhen before.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of like new city. This was a new city to me at the time. So because I was educated in other parts of the China. So but when I came to China, I feel like Shenzhen is really the city that most resemble the States. I mean, like most people in Shenzhen, they come from everywhere in China,
parts,
right?
exactly.
So the city is pretty young, and the people here are very young. And they very energetic. So I really like this city. So,
That's true.
Yeah, I feel like I fall in love with this city. So,
That's great. That's great. So then, did you bootstrap, or did you have savings, or how did you finance the business?
Right. So we kind of start with the bootstrapping. So later on last year we did the first round of financing. So,
but then for the first 5 years you were doing it on your own, which is great. I mean, that's always the dream, to be able to, because investment everybody always thinks it sounds great, but there's obviously rules and other requirements for raising the money.
Right.
So, but
it's a pretty, it's actually pretty interesting because when I just came back, so we have like one team working on e-commerce. And we have another team actually working on like development, like for app, like iPhone app. So we kind of like feel like we want to do something like in the high tech like a side, right? So not just the e-commerce side. But over the years, like we just realized how fast like e-commerce like develops. But for high tech, it's more risky compared to e-commerce.
It's true. It's true. I mean, which goes into my next topic. How do you've been scaling so well. You're doing really well with your team. How do you choose the next product or the expansion of your business as you grow?
Right. So it's not always easy. I mean, for like most e-commerce, I guess companies. So catalog expansion is always difficult. So for us, so we first we rely on like the information we get from the data, and also, of course, we also need a domain expert. So it's kind of like it's a combination of the both.
Agreed. Right. So it's well, there's of course categories, so you can probably expand in the category, but to go to a new category, you'd need a domain expert.
Right.
That makes
sense.
So
essentially, how it works at StartMerx is we pull the information from like all kind of different websites, and we do analyzing everything, and then we put the information together so that the product team, so they can take a better look at like what's the trend for the this category, and what's the reviews, like the bad reviews and the good reviews about these categories, these products, so they have a better understanding about this category and the products. So otherwise it's pretty easy to make mistakes.
True.
Sometimes expensive mistakes.
I understand for sure. Switching over to like personal or for fun, I know you work really hard, but when you're not studying data or working on business, do you have hobbies or?
Right. I'm a really boring person, so I do. I mean, I just don't have. I just feel like I don't have much time, like other than work and travel like back and forth between like Seattle and Shenzhen.
Okay.
Do some exercising, like running a little bit.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
All right. How often are you going back and forth with Seattle?
So I typically like in a couple of months.
Okay. Yeah, that is quite a bit.
Yeah.
For.
Because my family stay in Seattle.
Oh, I see. I see. Now makes sense. Yeah. I haven't been back to the States in over 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to get back. I have family too.
Actually, when I just came back to China, I read a lot about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was always curious about you. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Excited to hear that.
So it's
I blog a lot.
It's a pretty
Okay.
It's a legend.
Oh, I just talk too much online. Well, so what's the future? You raised funding last year or this year, was it?
Yeah.
And what's the vision or the path?
Yeah, so it's amazing how this industry has evolved in the last few years. So I still remember when I just came back. So everybody was doing their own websites.
Yeah.
So
Light in the Boxes, DHgates.
That's right. That's right. So and these days, people talk about the product development. So how you should develop new products, right? So how you so I think e-commerce is still in its early stage. So there's a lot to explore. So for us, I think we are working pretty hard to catch up.
Yeah.
So in terms of product development and also I would say retail management. So I think e-commerce is essentially also a retail business. So it's very important to manage inventory, supply chain, everything. So I think it's a challenge.
It is true. I'm always, that's my weakness, is the logistics or operations side.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's true. E-commerce is really the bridge of the internet, online marketing and physical.
Right.
Or e-business, e-commerce. But yeah, it's amazing. And some other questions I've been just thinking of is your team. You have how many staff now?
So we have around 500 people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Right.
And then that must be challenging.
Oh, it is. So I also learned along the way. Because I was trained as an engineer by training, so a lot of management skills I have to learn. Yeah.
Amazing. So it's all. I always remember. I guess everywhere, but especially China, they say KPI.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the number one buzzword I hear in Chinese management is KPI.
Right.
But it's good to have the numbers, and then. But I think one of the challenges I think in Shenzhen which is a strength and a challenge, is the youth, the young people are. I don't want to sound bad, but are entrepreneurial, so they want to do their own business. They come from other provinces, or foreigners come here. They come here to make money.
Right. Yeah, they have a dream. I think that's a good thing.
It's true.
Right?
It's good. So that's why I'm trying to say it's good, but it's hard for the company to manage.
Right. So you just have to accept the reality, I guess. So and then try to make the best out of this reality. So it's good to have for them to have dreams, so that they work hard, and also in this process. So for the company, we also learn a lot from their experience.
True.
So I think it's also an asset for the company as well. So, so we do have 2 parts. So we have one location in Shenzhen. We also have we actually have a few locations. So we have another location in northern China. So it's amazing how different the culture, the subculture, the 2 locations have. So in Shenzhen, like you just mentioned, so people come here to work hard, to make money, they have dreams. So in northern China, the pace is slower, but people don't move around that much.
It's true.
So I think it's important for business to, I guess, to design the layout of the company, so that the structure of the company to better, I guess, just take advantage of the different subcultures.
It's true. Even I haven't had an operations in Guangzhou, but some of my friends say Guangzhou is less turnover because they're local, so you can hire local. Or when Shenzhen is a young city, everybody's immigrants, so they're not really. They go hometown for the New Year. They don't really plan to live here long term.
Right.
So a lot of people say like even Dongguan, there's local people there. So if you hire locals, they're more likely to stay long term for the career.
Right.
But this has been very cool, and so then continuing to grow. The sort of plan is growing more product, growing catalog, improving logistics. Are you actually? There's news like Amazon is, I think, going to be doing their own logistics now. And so, are you? How do you do your logistics? Or
logistic part, it's I would say we are not that different from other counterparts. So so we are more or less the same. So we use like air freight. We use ocean freight. We also have those post small package.
Oh yeah, like Hong Kong Post.
That's right. We still have a lot of them.
Yeah, they stuff like 1 million into one box
exactly.
and send it over.
No tracking number. So yeah, we still have a lot of that. So, but in terms of logistics, we do think we are that much different.
Okay, right. That's good. It's great. And then the other question is financing or inventory management. It must be hard with all the inventory and the financing. I think maybe it's local. I think Chinese might have a better advantage to bargain with the factory or supplier terms, or do you have any strategies about financing or bargaining with suppliers?
Right. So that's a good question. So for us, we typically have like 1 to 3 months like terms from suppliers, but that really depends on categories, depends on like how much you buy from them. So they do typically the terms like depend on the how much you procure from them. So that's for terms. We have a specialized team. They do all the bargaining. So they do nothing but the bargaining. So because that's very important to control your cost, right? So,
that's totally true.
Right. So for inventory, I would say inventory cost control is the most. I would say the most important and difficult part.
This is so hard.
It's very hard.
I'm actually starting to do a little bit of e-commerce again, but I always had headaches with inventory.
It's a nightmare.
Because you think it sounds easy. The first order is easier. You buy like 100, 1,000 expert of like 20 different SKUs, but then one sells out. Then you're like balancing inventories.
That's right. Especially when you have like thousands of SKUs, right? So we don't have optimal like a solution. We don't even have like suboptimal solution. We are still working on that. So we do rely on like a system, like heavily, like to try to use a system to solve that problem. But we are still still trying.
I understand. It's always always improvements in its life and its business. So what kind of people would you like to meet? Our companies or other suppliers on the show or people.
Oh yeah. So I think this is a great event. So I see a lot of big names.
We're gonna have some great.
So there. I'm very excited. So I think there are some suppliers that I would like to meet, and also some I think there are some big sellers from the States.
Yeah,
so I think it's very good to have some conversation with so people can exchange like ideas.
It's gonna be amazing to make some really bridging these different cultures and people. So, so how can people find more about your company online, or find more about you online? Is there
Right. So I do have a personal like Facebook and LinkedIn page. So but I kind of like don't use them like that frequently. So so the company, we do have a website.
Sure.
Starmux.com.
Okay, Starmux.com.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mike. It's
great.
a pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.